If your pipeline is slowing down, drying up, you're getting nervous, what can you do about it right now? How do you generate more leads? How do you market to attract new clients? Where do interior design firm owners find their clients?
All right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business.
Hey, it's Rebecca, and you are listening to Resilient by Design. Today's episode is all about marketing your business and where to find those freaking clients, because it can feel like a little bit of a pokeroo situation. If you know what I'm talking about, you're from Canada. But basically, there was this TV show when I was a kid. It was on TVO, TV Ontario, which is the province where I live, called Not Today's Special. That was a different show. Shoot. What was the one with the pokeroo, guys? Anyhow, there was this scene at the end of the TV show where one of the two hosts would kind of disappear. It had to go somewhere. And then the other host would be surprised to find the pokeroo, which was this, essentially the other host dressed up in a costume and nobody knew it was the other host, would show up and be like, pokeroo, poka, or something. Anyways, and then he would leave, and then the host would come back, and every time he'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed him again. So the idea is that the pokeroo would come, but he never got to see him. Okay, this is a really weird intro. I'm so sorry. Basically, what I'm trying to say is clients sometimes can feel elusive. Like, how do I find them? Where are they? And today I want to walk you through some really concrete tips on how you can do that. We get a lot of questions inside our designer community about how do you market your business to attract clients? How do you advertise? Where are you getting your business from? My leads have dried up, and Instagram and my website doesn't seem to be enough. How do you ask for referrals? These are all the things that I'm going to dive into in today's episode. Oh, wait, one more thing. Before we dive into the episode, I just want to ask, if you are enjoying this podcast, if you really enjoy and love to listen to this podcast, it would mean so much to me if you could tell a friend. I know we give out a ton of information for free on this podcast, and all I want and all I ask is that you send us a review or leave us a review, but that also tell at least one friend that you think will find value in the podcast. All right. Thank you in advance, and here we go. All right, let's dive into today's episode, how to market your business and all things asking for business. So I mentioned that there's a lot of questions I get all the time about marketing, and you may or may not know that the very first course that I ever launched was called Momentum Marketing. And it was in 2020, and that was when people were nervous, things had slowed down, projects were on hold, and everybody really wanted help with marketing. And at the time, I had a pretty strong Instagram presence. I had been working with a publicist, I was getting featured, I was doing stage talks, my business had grown exponentially to over $1 million in sales, and I was flying pretty high. Pretty tired, I'm not gonna lie, but the business was booming, the leads were coming in, and so people were like, tell us, Rebecca, how are you doing it? Like, what can we do? And so I developed this course called Momentum Marketing. I don't currently offer it, though there have been requests for me to bring it back, so we shall see. But essentially, it was the very beginning of my coaching business and this podcast. So there's lots of episodes, and I'll share a few of those today that you could go back to and re-listen to inside this podcast if you want to do more of a deep dive into marketing your business and hearing different people's perspectives. I've interviewed some really great experts in this area, Nikki Nash, Darla Powell, some of my past Momentum students, to name a few, Nikki Nash, Pamela Durkin, like some really great marketing minds. But Today, I want to be really focused in this conversation because I think oftentimes we get a little bit sidetracked, thinking we need to listen to all the experts. And I'm not saying don't go listen to those episodes, because you should. But also, we sometimes forget about the basics. And so today, that's what I want to talk about. Like, where are you going to get those clients right now? If your pipeline is slowing down, drying up, you're getting nervous, what can you do about it right now? And in this episode, I'm going to share an unpopular opinion, one that I've literally never shared publicly before, but something that I have now learned in my over a decade of running my business and trying to grow and scale and attract clients. And also some tips that I've learned from my own brand strategist more recently about marketing specifically for interior designers. So let's dive into the episode. How do you generate more leads? How do you market to attract new clients? Where do interior design firm owners find their clients? Well, they come from everywhere. One place I can tell you that they usually do not come from is Instagram. I know. I'm going to dive into that in a little bit later, but this is the shocking truth. Designers, creatives spend more time than, in my opinion, they should, on social media marketing, when the reality is that the grassroots is what's going to move the needle in the early years. Now, one caveat to that is that there is a place for growing your Instagram, and it is to build brand awareness. And if you want to be an influencer and make money off your Instagram, that's a great place to do it. But if you are looking to not do those things and simply run a profitable local interior design business, don't get distracted. Please, don't get distracted by the pretty squares. I've made that mistake. I'm not saying you don't need an Instagram. And I know there are a lot of experts, including one of my podcast guests here, a few of them actually, who swear by using Instagram to attract clients. But I can tell you from experience, if you are looking to attract high-end interior design clients, the first place to put your money and your mouth and your time is not Instagram. I feel like I might be creating this a whole debate. People, this is a really contentious. The thing about Instagram, oh my God, here's the thing about Instagram. We love it. It's so pretty. It's so creative. We want to be on it. We want to have the best looking account. We want to have the great filters. We want to have beautiful reels with music. We want Chris and Julia to be our friends. I'm trying to think of other big influencers. We want to hit 100,000 followers. Why? Because a lot of the times it's our ego telling us we need to do those things, and it has nothing to do with generating profit in a design business. You need to understand your priorities and what do you want. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. But I feel like I'm here today to dispel the myth that that is how you get design clients, because it is not. There are lots of ways to get design clients that do not involve growing your Instagram to 100,000 followers or 10,000 followers. Instagram is a useful tool. And the most important use of Instagram to me and how I see it for design clients is it's a beautiful showcase of your portfolio. It's the second touch point. The first touch point is what I want us to talk about today. I'm not going to dive into website. I'm not going to dive into Instagram because those are the second touch points. That is where people are then going to check you out after they found out about you. And how do they find out about you? Oh my God, I sound so Canadian today. What's going on? Hold on. I need my sip of my tea. There we go. Okay. How do they find out about you? That's what we're here to talk about today. So I mentioned already that interior design is a high ticket business. It is high end. People have money to spare. This is not a necessity. You are not selling milk and eggs. You are not selling furnaces. You are not selling toothbrushes and toothpaste. You are selling a luxury. This is something people want, not something they need. And so by nature of that statement, It is an emotional decision, the same way you will spend extra money on a name brand pair of jeans instead of just buying the inexpensive Old Navy jeans. Yeah, the quality's probably better. Is it $400 better? Probably not. You are making an emotional decision because it makes you feel good to wear the jeans. Not only do they fit you perfectly, hopefully, otherwise don't spend the money, they look damn good on you, and everybody knows that brand, so dang girl, you look cool and you totally fit in with the in crowd. You guys know what I'm talking about. Could be something else. Maybe it's not jeans. It could be a clutch, a purse, a car. Cars are cars. Okay, I'm going to get a lot of people like hating on me right now. I'm not a car person. I know they're not all cars. But if you look at the exponential increase in the value of a Toyota to a Mercedes, yes, you get a lot more, but is it $200,000 more? Okay, bad example. I can't speak to cars. You guys get the drift. So, as such, if you have a high ticket product that people want, then you need to speak to the emotional side. And that emotional side is that they care about the opinions of others. Stay with me here. And I feel like I'm going in a circle, but stay with me. What that means is they want social validation from people in their life that you are the person to hire. And this is my roundabout way of saying people want to hire you because other people told them about you. Very few clients are going to find you on a Google search. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. We just got a new lead this week who found us in a Google search. And the first thing I said to my team, I said, oof, that's a red flag. Because if they found me in a Google search, they don't really know a lot about me likely. Do they know anyone who's worked with me? Do they even know my style? Do they even follow me on Instagram? Like, they don't probably even know my personality. Now, I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's possible that they just plopped that there, but really someone else told them about me, and who knows? And that's what the discovery calls for. But most people are going to look you up because of a personal recommendation. They just are. So if we know that, and many of you already know that this is true, then how do we go about getting those personal recommendations? Because if that's the gold standard of growing your design client roster, then that's where we got to tap into and that's where we got to go. So here's what I want to share with you that I learned from my brand strategist. I want you to imagine a piece of paper. And if you're listening to this and you're at a desk and you're not out for a run or driving in your car, just take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the one side, I want you to write high ticket, low volume. On the other side, I want you to write low ticket, high volume. Where does your interior design service fall? It likely falls under high ticket, low volume. If you are looking to grow a luxury design business, or even if it's not luxury, if you are just looking to grow and service people to decorate and renovate and remodel their homes, or heck, build a brand new home, that is a high ticket service. Chances are you don't need a lot of those to make money. High ticket, low volume. On the flip side, there's low ticket, high volume, something like a toothbrush. The marketing efforts are different depending on which side of the page your service or product lands on. When she did this exercise with me, I was like, oh, super clarity. Right. Digital marketing in today's day and age is so well suited for low ticket, high volume. So somebody like me who is selling online courses, and some of them are low ticket, like my Pricing with Confidence course is a $297. That's pretty low ticket. There could be courses that I create that are less. Even Power of Process, it's still, at the time of this recording, it's under $2,000, which is not a high ticket price tag when you compare it to interior design. I want to leverage digital marketing. I want to get in front of people because they're going to see something online, follow the podcast, recognize that, wow, I've got tons of information to share, and they're going to buy the product. However, the high ticket service or product, it's going to be a lot harder to make a sale when you invest in the digital marketing early on, unless you have a recognizable brand name. So what do we do if we're in that column? What we do is we need to find out where our clients are and we need to get in front of them. A great example of this, that's not actually a high ticket service, I just think it's a great example of meeting your customer where they're at, is the ice cream truck. Do you guys have ice cream trucks on your streets or in your cities or your towns? We have them in Toronto, and my street is like filled with young children, and so it's probably like the gold mine for an ice cream truck. But that freaking ice cream truck comes driving down my street after the end of the school day on every freaking weekday with the music blaring at around 5 o'clock, 5:30. Parents are home from work, kids are home from school, just before dinner when everyone's hungry, and they are there every single day, and every single day we hear them, or we try to pretend we don't hear them if we're the parents and the kids are busy, and the kids all go running out. Talk about, the time to get in front of your client and you know exactly where they are. It's such a great example. And when this happened yesterday, literally, I thought to myself, holy heck, what can I learn from the ice cream truck? They're not cruising the street at 10 a.m. The kids are in school. What would be the point? What a waste of gas and times that he could be doing, cleaning his truck or driving his Uber or whatever the heck he does on his off hours. That would be wasted energy and wasted time. That's the idea. We need to understand, like that ice cream truck driver, where are those people that want our service? And when are they ready and thinking about doing what we do? Okay, I feel like I'm making a super clear point, and if I'm not clear, guys, I don't know. I don't have any more examples for you at the moment. So, here are some really great ways that I have shared inside my courses with other designers on how to find those clients and get in front of them and to get those referrals. First of all, you need an email list. Number one, get yourself an email list. Send out regular newsletters. I would say you don't need to do it more than once a month. Weekly is a lot to take on if you've never done an email. I only do a weekly email for my coaching students because we have a weekly podcast, so it just makes sense. I do not send out a weekly email to design clients. I send one monthly. So you could do monthly, you could do quarterly. Send an email to past clients, potential clients that you get their information from, and friends and family when you first start out. Let them know and remind them where you are at and what you're up to. So get yourself an email list. I know it sounds like digital, but it's more personal. Like email is quite personal. And so the people on that list should already know who you are. You're not e-blasting a bunch of people at a school that have never heard who you are. So for example, I'm going to be speaking in Las Vegas. I've asked, I don't know if we'll get it, but I've asked the organizers if I can have the email list of the people who attend my talk. I don't need to e-blast the 500 plus attendees of their event, but it would be really great if I could email the people who met me, who got to hear me speak, because they already now have a touch point with me. So get yourself an email list. 2, get in contact with local real estate agents. If there's a neighborhood that you would love to work in and that you are ready to serve those clients in those houses, drive that neighborhood and make a note of all the real estate agents who have signs on the lawns. Who works in those areas? Then take that short list, look up those realtors on the internet, on Instagram, look at what some of their past, houses or sales have been, to make sure it's not just like a one-off. Because how there's always that like one realtor that pops up in a neighborhood that's not usually there because they're like the friend of the family of the person, but really they just sell condos downtown. And I don't want to do condos. I want to do like houses that have a 50-foot lot in this certain neighborhood of the city. So look up those realtors and find out what areas do they dominate and is it the area where you want to be. Once you've created that list, reach out to them, meet them for coffee. How can you provide a service to them? This is one of the greatest tips of all time that I also learned recently that I think is so freaking brilliant. So you're going to want to write this down. So if you are multitasking or if you're driving, you're going to want to make sure, pay attention to the timestamp of this podcast where you are at right now so you can come back to it. But essentially it is find out who that realtor is approach them. Or also, you might already have realtors in your realm or in your circle or people that you know that are in the neighborhoods you want to be in, and create maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe start with 2 coupons. Don't call them a coupon though. I don't know. I just got to think of a better word for this. It's essentially a coupon. Have like a postcard printed. It's like very exclusive, like 1, 2, maybe 3. That is essentially a coupon for a free consultation. But don't say that on the coupon, because then it will be cheesy and it will cheapen the service. And you go to that real estate agent and you say, listen, I only do this once a year, but I would like to gift you 2 design consultations, 2 of my design consultations for 2 of your clients. I'm going to give these to you. You can decide who you want to give them to. It's going to make you look really good because they're going to think you paid for them, but I'm not going to charge you. And offer it to clients who have, and then have some stipulations, have parameters, to homeowners who are buying their forever home and looking to do a complete gut job reno. Or to a young family who's just moved into their first home and really wants to up-level their decorating. Who is your ideal client? Where do you want to be? But you need to make sure you tell that realtor so they don't just hand it out to anyone. And you need to be very clear on, these consultations are best for a new homeowner who isn't moving out of their existing house because they don't want the inconvenience, but they're going to do a full gut remodel of this new house you've sold them. That's what this consultation's really meant for, because in that consultation, I can really help them narrow down their scope of work, identify blah, blah, blah. So here's 2 reasons this can work. 1, you might actually get a client from one of those consultations. But 2, and this is more important, I think, because it's a longer term relationship play, you are now top of mind for that real estate agent. You are now getting in front of their potential clients who could mention your name to one of their friends. So they may not be ready to hire you. They might do the consultation and find, oh my God, this is tons of value. We don't need to hire a designer right now, but we really appreciate it. Get them on your email list so that they can refer you to their friends who are also buying the $5 million house that needs a complete gut job, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's a really brilliant play. Another way to get in front of real estate agents, which is something that I actually was doing before the pandemic, and someone had made this recommendation to me, and it was super brilliant. Contact realtors or brokers and say, hey, do you have a weekly meeting or a monthly meeting? I would love to come and speak to your agents about the latest trends in kitchen design, or the design trends that are on the way out, and to totally make sure you're not doing when you stage a house. You don't have to be a home stager to talk to these real estate agents. If anything, they're going to see you as having like an insider knowledge that maybe their stager doesn't have, or maybe if they don't stage, but they kind of help clients get their homes ready, they're really hungry for, and that is a really great way to get in front of agents. It's less about what you teach them, and it's more about the fact that your name is there. There's associating you with interior design projects, but make sure that whatever you talk about or whatever you present about, or whatever blog post you write for their e-newsletter, because that's something else I've done as well. You can offer to write a blog post for them, say, hey, I'd love to write a blog post for you that can circulate. And a lot of these brokerages actually have like parent companies. And so you could write for their brokerage, and then the parent company would circulate it. You can get in front of more people. Make sure the content of what you teach or share or write about speaks to the level of design service you want to do. I made the mistake for a little too long talking about things that were like DIY, here's how to hang a light fixture, how to style your living room. Like, frick, Rebecca, people who want that advice are not going to hire me. I don't want to be known for someone who teaches people how to do it themselves. I want to be known for someone who talks about the fill in your custom sofa or drapery trends to watch for, because the person seeing that content is going to think, oh, if I hire her, I'm going to have like the best custom furniture, or wow, we're going to have like, look at that incredible layering of drapery. I would never think to do something like that. So just think about the content that you create. Real estate agents are worth their weight in gold. Find them, connect with them, but find the right ones. Lastly, I want to talk about getting those referrals from past clients. This is something that I know a lot of us say we know we need to do, and for the longest time I would talk about doing it, but I was like busy and I would just not do it. And it was definitely something that it was like, okay, I'd like to do this, but I don't know if I'm going to have the time. I'll do it next time, or I'll do it later. And I would always put it off. So it's something that we've added to our process. It is something that we make sure we do at the end of every project. But it is also important to understand that there's a way to ask for referrals so that there's something you can use. My recommendation is don't wait till the project is over. Wait until you're well into the project. It could be close to the end, and you've had a really big win. And the client is on a real emotional high. Like, they are loving you right now. Like, they are thinking, this designer, oh my God, she gets me, she knows me, right? Maybe you've just installed the kitchen cabinetry and they're like blown away. They think it looks so amazing. Or maybe you've just demoed and they're like, wow, everything's moving so quickly. Because, that's basically what happens. People are like, oh, wow, it's going so fast. Yeah, you're like, yeah, no kidding. Demo always goes fast. But that is the type of time I want you to think about for when you are approaching your clients for a referral. So then what I want you to do is write it in an email, but I want you to write the testimonial yourself. So what I mean by that is you need to craft the testimonial in an email, in the body of the email, so that it makes your client's job easier to get it done, post it on Google, or what have you. So there's two things. So I'm talking about two things. Sorry, I want to be clear. I'm talking about two ways to get the client referral. One is for them to refer you to a friend. The other is for them to give you a testimonial or a Google review that can be used. So let's talk about the testimonial or the Google review. You want to write that testimonial in an email and send it to your client. Say, oh my God, we're so excited. Things are going so quickly. We know your kitchen's going to turn out amazing. Like, at this point in the process, we always love to get a testimonial that we can use in our marketing so we can attract more wonderful clients just like you. And I've gone ahead and I've taken the liberty of writing out a few sentences. Feel free to look at it, tweak it, change it if you want, and let me know, and send it back. So you can write about anything that you think is important. So if you want to make sure that future clients know you have a really solid, rock solid process, make sure you weave that in. Oh, it was so wonderful working with Rebecca and her team. They understood our design needs and their process was seamless, and it made us always know what was coming next. Our kitchen is phenomenal and we can't wait to spend the rest of our life in our home. I don't know. I just made that up. You get the idea, right? Because if you leave it to a client to write a testimonial or a review, it's not going to be very specific. It's going to be, we had an unparalleled experience working with Rebecca Hay Designs. Their aesthetic is beautiful and they made us really happy. We highly recommend them. Like, that's not very tangible and specific. Yes, it's praise, but it's not very useful. So if you can put together something useful and then they can add to it or edit it, that is the best way. That is the fastest way to get a turnaround as well, because oftentimes clients, when you're asked for a testimonial, want to do it, they just get busy and they want to make sure they give it the time that it deserves. And so it keeps getting pushed to the bottom of their to-do list to the point where they completely forget, and then you have to circle back and follow up. So I recommend you write it for them and you send it to them for their review. Once they have reviewed it and they say, okay, this looks really great, that's when you send back and you say, fantastic, here's the link to leave us a Google review. It would mean, could you please, or it would mean so much to us if you could just post this testimonial on Google using this link. You're making their job super easy, as opposed to, hey, can you go to Google and leave us a review? The homeowner who's just asked to leave a Google testimonial or review is going to think, hey, where do I go? I don't even know. Do I just go to, it feels like a barrier. It feels like an obstacle to get there. You need to give them the direct path so that to make their job super easy, it'll only take 30 seconds of your time. That's the best way to get that testimonial. And if they say, no, we don't want to post it on Google, as long as you get their permission to use it, then you can use it internally. You can create thumbnails for Instagram. You can put it on your website. You can put it in your About Us document that you send to potential future clients. You can use it in your marketing. So worst case scenario, they say, no Google review. You can use this, but don't use our address or don't use my first name or what have you. Just make sure you get their permission. So then the second thing I was going to share, which I kind of started and then I got sidetracked, was referrals. How do you get your client to refer you? Well, here's the thing. You just have to ask. So many of us think, oh, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to ask for much. I don't want to ask them to refer me to someone. Like, I don't want to put them in that pressure. What if they didn't really enjoy working with me? And like, what if they think I was actually expensive? Or like, I don't know. You tell yourself a story. We all have the stories we tell ourselves. And they're usually not accurate or true, but they feel true in our mind and they cause us to doubt and not ask for the work or ask for the business. One of the best things you can do, either during the project or years later, is send them an email and say, hey, we've really enjoyed working with you. This has been such a fun process. You know, we're always looking for, or maybe not say that. I'm actually don't have a script, guys. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. I'm trying to think what we did in the past, which was like, oh, your referral means so much to us because we've loved working with you and we'd love to work with more people like you. Do you know someone who is looking for, like someone who's just as awesome as you, who is looking to renovate their home? Or do you know of anyone who's in the market to hire an interior designer? Or do you know anybody who's looking to move houses and could use some help and would love a consultation? If you don't ask, you'll never know. The worst that can happen is they don't respond at all, or they write back and say, sorry, I don't really know of anyone at the moment. I can't tell you how many times in the last year I have been on the receiving end of this referral request by vendors. I have had contractors, millwork companies email me saying, hey, we love working with you. Like, is there anyone you know who's looking for a contractor? And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that girl at the school was mentioning she's going to renovate. I guess I could give her your number or I could connect you. But I wouldn't have thought of it otherwise because I'm so in my own world. I'm not thinking about connecting other people. Or I'm like, I don't really have anyone that I know of, but I'll keep you in mind. It's very powerful to ask. If you are in the middle of a project and you feel confident enough to do this, I highly recommend you ask in person. So when you're at their house and there has been a good win, like they're happy with you, not one of those days where things are tense, but that's when you say, I'm loving working with you. Do you have any friends who want to renovate? We're looking to fill our pipeline in the fall and we would love to work with another kitchen renovation, or we would love to work on a new build project, especially once your project wraps up. We're going to have all this time and I would love to work with someone. There's no way a client who is happy with you is not going to at least think about someone they could recommend to connect with. Okay, those are some easy ways, some more challenging ways, depending on how you look at it, that you can start to get in front of those clients. My last point that I'll share is that, like the ice cream truck, you got to think where your clients are at. And a lot of this work can be done if you do one of those ICA or Ideal Client Avatar exercises. I do them all the time inside my courses, but really the idea is, where do they spend their time? Like, really? Are they skiing every weekend at a ski club? Are they in a local Facebook group? Where are they spending their time? Because that's where you should be. And it doesn't mean you have to join the club. I mean, if you have the means to do it, though, I highly recommend it. I remember early on, one of our Power of Process students was saying to us, I think it was, she also did Momentum, my marketing course, and she was like, so many of my clients lately, are members at this pool club. Do you think I should, join the pool club? And I was like, yeah, hells yes, don't even give it a second thought. And then she was like, well, I don't know, because then if we're friends, it could be weird, it could be uncomfortable. I'm like, if you don't want to join, then you need to at least get to that club, to sponsor a fundraiser, to show up for an event, get an invitation. If all your clients are coming from this pool club or this golf club or this ski club or this tennis club, if you can't afford or don't want to be a member for whatever reason, you need to get yourself there in front of those people, because people will refer people they know or names that they have heard of. It's not common to refer someone that you follow on Instagram. It happens. I've had it happen to me. But I can tell you that some of the best projects have been from people who refer people to people. We are in a people business. I don't know how many more times I can say people. That is an opportunity. Get in front of those people. Maybe it's a private school and you have a friend whose daughter is in the private school. Did they have a fundraiser coming up? Is there a silent auction? Can you donate a consultation to that silent auction? Because not only will somebody get the consultation and come to your house and get to know you and meet you and maybe refer you to their friends, but your name will be on the marketing materials. It'll be in their social. It'll be hopefully on materials at the event. If you have like a little placard or something you could put on the table where the silent auction is with a picture of you and your logo and your brand. Really powerful ways to start to build brand awareness in a hyper local, hyper niche area that is going to be far more effective than throwing a picture out onto Instagram and hoping it sticks. All right. I hope that episode was helpful. I know that there's so many things that can be done. It can feel overwhelming. But what I would tell you is to just focus in on those few key areas, those few relationships or places or people to get your name out. And for goodness sake, start an email list. Start getting in front of those people who already know you exist on a regular basis. Don't count on them seeing your Instagram. How many of you who listen to this podcast are on my email list and half the time are not checking my Instagram every day, but you get my emails, right? And if you're listening to this and you're like, what? Rebecca has an email list? Yeah, go get on my email list. I think you could probably do it on my website. I probably should come up with a link on how to do that. Or maybe in my Instagram bio. Because we send like behind the scenes nuggets, info, insights to that email list that I do not share on Instagram. And some things that I don't share here. So get on the list. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Please drop a comment inside the Designer Meetup Facebook group to let me know, honestly, what have you done? Have you tried any of these tactics? Or have you done other ones? What ideas have you tried to market your business and attract new clients? Please share them inside our Facebook group so we can all learn from each other. That was the last thing I wanted to say is if you want a little bit more information on marketing your business, you like this topic, there's lots of episodes of the podcast, but here are a few that you can go back and listen to. So I did a recent episode with Darla Powell of the Wingnut Social podcast. Darla's amazing. She's hilarious. It's episode 150 called Instagram Marketing and Being Yourself on Social Media. It's a very good episode. I know I just said Instagram's not as important, but it's still really useful. So go check that episode out. Then I have episode 149, Standing Out from the Competition, Tips to Market in a Recession. And then lastly, check out episode 115, How to Use Magnetic Marketing to Grow Your Interior Design Business with Pamela Durkin. Go check out those episodes and then let me know if there's anything else you want me to share inside the podcast on marketing. I am more than happy to do so. That's it. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with someone who you think could benefit from listening. Again, my podcast is free. So the only thing I ask is that you spread the word and share it with your friends. If you're enjoying this, please find somebody else who you think also will enjoy the episode or enjoy the podcast and leave us a review. Okay. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
The Resilient by Design podcast is produced by Vera Marquez, edited by Abby Circatella, and hosted by yours truly, Rebecca Hay.